Okay, let's talk about money. For so many of us, just hearing that word can bring up a little bit of stress, maybe some anxiety. But what if we could completely change our relationship with it? What if we could go from feeling that fear to feeling, well, free? That's exactly what we're going to dive into today.
So let me just ask you straight up. Does money make you anxious? Do you ever find yourself avoiding your bank account, or you get that little knot in your stomach when bills are due? If you're nodding your head right now, listen, you are so not alone. It's a super common feeling.
And here is the most important thing I want you to take away from all of this. It is not your fault. Seriously, you're not bad with money. The thing is, we're taught how to make money, but nobody really teaches us how to manage it, how to make it grow. These are skills we have to learn. So let's just drop that guilt right now and start fresh.
So that's our first big idea. Realizing this isn't some personal failing. That's actually step one to taking back your power, understanding where this anxiety really comes from.
It's kind of funny. Our relationship with money can actually look a lot like our attachment styles in personal relationships. Think about it. Are you secure, where you feel pretty calm talking about and handling money? Or maybe you're anxious, constantly worrying that there's not enough. Or maybe you're avoidant. You'd rather do anything than look at a bank statement. The goal here isn't to get rich quick. It's just to move toward that secure style where you feel safe and in control.
Okay, so speaking of things that hold us back, there's this one massive myth about money that so many of us have picked up without even thinking about it. We've all heard it, right? Money is the root of all evil. It makes money sound like this inherently bad thing. But that's not the actual quote. The real saying is, the love of money is the root of all evil. See the difference? That's huge. It's not the money itself. It's the obsession, the greed. That's the issue.
And that little shift changes everything. Money isn't good or bad. It's just a tool. It's a resource. It's an energy. The second we stop seeing it as some kind of moral report card and start seeing it as a tool we can learn to use, that's when we go from feeling anxious to feeling empowered.
So, how do we start using this tool? Well, it starts by focusing on our decisions, not just the number of dollars in our account. It's about taking back control with small, deliberate actions. So many of us fall into the trap of thinking, oh, I'll figure this out when I make more money. But guess what? Studies show your financial well-being has way more to do with your sense of control than the size of your paycheck. The minute you decide to take charge of your decisions, even if you're totally broke, that's the minute you actually start building wealth. And you can literally start building that control today, right now. We're not talking about giant, scary moves. Just download a free budgeting app, find one subscription you forgot you even had, and just cancel it. Or just transfer $5, just $5, to a savings account. These tiny decisions prove to your own brain that you are in the driver's seat.
All right. Once you're making those small decisions, it's time to build a truly game-changing habit. And it's simple. Save first, spend what's left. This little piece of wisdom from Warren Buffett is, no joke, one of the most powerful financial rules out there. Most of us get our paycheck, we spend, and then we just kind of hope there's something left to save at the end of the month. Buffett says, flip that completely on its head. Pay yourself first. Put your savings away, and then you're totally free to spend whatever is left over.
And here's a little brain hack to make this almost effortless. See, your brain is wired to look at the money in your main account and think, ooh, spending money. So you've got to make your savings invisible. Open a totally separate account. And don't just call it savings. Give it an awesome name, like your Freedom Fund. Then set up an automatic transfer. Every time you get paid, a little bit goes straight there. It happens first, before you even see it.
Okay, this brings us to the single most valuable thing you can ever acquire on your financial journey. And nope, it's not a hot stock tip or a piece of property.
It's another gem from Warren Buffett. Your money can only grow as much as your brain does. The absolute best investment you can make, especially when you're starting out, isn't something you don't understand. It's investing in your own knowledge. Just think about the difference. Buying stuff, it feels good for a second, right? You get that little dopamine hit. But learning about money, like really understanding how compound interest works, that builds real, lasting confidence. It's not about impressing anyone else. It's about empowering yourself for the long haul.
And look, you don't have to go get a PhD in economics. Just make one tiny swap in your day. Instead of one of your mindless social media scrolls, just spend that 10 minutes reading one article or watching one quick video about a money concept. That little daily deposit of knowledge, it will compound like crazy over time.
Okay, so let's pull all these threads together. We've hit on mindset, decisions, habits, and knowledge. The last piece of the puzzle is all about rewriting the stories we tell ourselves about money.
This is a big one. So many of our core beliefs about money, they're not even ours. We just soaked them up from our families when we were kids. Maybe you heard things like, money doesn't grow on trees, or rich people are greedy. These become our money scripts, and they run our lives on autopilot until we decide to stop and actually look at them.
And this is how you rewrite that script. You trade in shame for a strategy. You swap out guilt for clarity. And you replace that constant feeling of scarcity with a life that's driven by intention. It's not about how much you have, it's about how you approach what you have.
So I'll just leave you with this one question to chew on. What's one story you've been telling yourself about money that you're ready to let go of? Maybe it's I'm just bad with money, or I'll never have enough. Whatever it is, the moment you decide to write a new one is the moment your journey from fear to freedom truly begins.